chapter 12, operational amplifier. By the end of chapter 12, it is expected from you to describe a basic operational amplifier and the characteristics, discuss op-amp modes of several parameters, explain negative feedback in op-amps, analyze op-amps with negative feedback, describe how negative feedback affects the amplifier impedance, discuss bias current in offset voltage, analyze the open loop frequency response of an op-amp, and analyze the closed loop frequency response of an op-amp, and then also be able to troubleshoot an operational amplifier. As you can see, the op-amp is a very high gain DC coupled amplifier with differential inputs consisting out of an IC with an inverting and a non-inverting input, an output, and a plus and a minus supply voltage. The op-amp, basically, operation could be summarized as follows. If the inverting input is more positive with respect to the non-inverting input, then the output would be negative. If the inverting input is more negative with respect to the positive of a non-inverting input, then the output will be positive. In short, there's always a 180 degrees phase shift between the negative input and the output. In slide 5, you will see that the typical package of an operational amplifier or the 741 IC, the one you are going to use in the lab the most is the DIP package. Important to notice that leg 1 to 4 is on the one side and leg 5 to 8 is on the other side. For clarity purposes, compare the ideal op-amp with a practical op-amp. You need to know, slide 7, to understand the characteristics of a practical op-amp. The input impedance, Zin, is very high. The voltage gain AV is very high. The output impedance Zout is very low, and it had a very wide bandwidth. If you look to slide 9, you will see that the differential amplifier of a diff amp has basically two inputs. It amplifies the difference in the two input voltages, and it can be used in single-ended differential input mode or double-ended differential input mode. Just quickly for us, let's recap what you've already learned in chapter 6. If you look to figure A, you see that both inputs is grounded, in other words, coupled to 0 volts. Both transistor emitters voltages are equal to minus 0.7 volts. We assume both transistors are equal, therefore IE1 is equal to IE2 is equal to IRE divided by 2. Since both IE1 and IE2 flows through IRE, based on our approximation that IE1 is equal to IC1 and IE2 is equal to IC2, we can say that IE1 is equal to IC2 is equal to IE2 is equal to IC2 is equal to IRE divided by 2. We also know that RC1 is equal to RC2. Now, according to Ohm's law, V is equal to I times R. With I and R the same, VRC1 is equal to VRC2, and we will measure from the ground to the output 1 and ground to output 2 exactly the same voltage. Let's look now to figure B. Input 2 is 0 or grounded with respect to the positive voltage applied to input 1. That means there's a positive on the base of Q1 causing the current of IRC1 to increase, resulting in an increase in the emitter voltage at Q1 to VE is equal to VB minus 0.7. This action reduced the forward bias VBE of 0.2 of Q2 because its base is equal to 0 volts, thus causing that IRC2 to decrease. The net result is that the increase in IRC1 caused the increase in voltage drop across VRC1 and the decrease in VC1 between ground and point 1. On the other side, the decrease in IC1 that will result in a decrease in VRC2 cause an increase in VC2 between ground and point 2. The last circuit operates on exactly the same manner with the input 1 coupled to 0 volts and positive voltage coupled to input 2. You can now apply the basic knowledge what I just teach you to work out the basic how the op-amp in slide 11 operate. The input signal can be applied to an op-amp in differential mode or in common mode. Recall from these terms were introduced in section 6.7 with differential amplifier. They are reviewed in the chapter. I think the important thing to see here is basically that the inputs there, negative, positive input, that is the single-ended, and in this case you got it, there is your double-ended differential mode. Common mode signals are applied to both sides with the same phase on both of them. Usually common mode signals are from unwanted sources and affect both inputs in the same way. The result is that they essentially cancelled at the output. In the op-amp, a common mode operation, both inputs are the same and the output is 0. But why? Mainly to get rid of noise in air. Common mode reduction raises the ability to get rid of noise because we do not want the noise to be amplified. There you can see a formula for common mode reduction ratio. That is equal to A open loop gain divided by A closed loop gain. Concept, okay, there's just an example. What is common mode reduction ratio? That is an example that you can go through by yourself. The following concepts you need to understand and need to know. The maximum output voltage swing is determined by the op-amp in the power supply voltages. The input offset voltage is the differential DC voltage required between the input to force the output to 0 volts. I bias, or the input bias current, is the average of the two DC currents required to bias a differential amplifier. And IOS is the input offset current, is the difference between the two bias currents. Let's go to number 24. Just an example, you can work through that by yourself. I think what is important in this case here is that you can see there's the input impedance. In this case consists out of that resistance there, that resistance there. That point there is coupled to common. There's it in differential input impedance is the total resistance between the two inputs. The common mode input impedance is the resistance between each input and ground. And the output impedance is resistance view from the output of a circuit. Slew rate is a maximum rate of change of the output voltage in response to step input voltages. There's an example, you can work that one out by yourself. There you can actually find delta V out over delta T. Just an example of a slew rate. Another example of a slew rate there. Now we start with negative feedback. What is negative feedback? Negative feedback is connected to an op-amp in order to stabilize the gain and to increase the frequency response. A homework exercise that you can start doing, and then we basically back to negative feedback amplifiers. That is now slide number 54. I already mentioned that negative feedback is connected to op-amp in order to stabilize the gain and increase the frequency response. In this particular case here, we refer here to a non-inverting amplifier. Why non-inverting amplifier? If we investigate, you will see that the input here is coupled to the positive side. In this case as well, is coupled to the positive side. With a non-inverting amplifier, the input and the output would be in phase with each other. There's another example, a non-inverting amplifier's configuration in which the signal is on the non-inverting input and the portion of the output is returned to the inverting input. Can you still see here? Your input is basically on the non-inverting side, but my feedback is feedback to the inverting input. In slide 37, you can see that the output is supplied back to the inverting input through the feedback resistor of a closed loop formed by the input resistor Ri and the feedback resistor Rf. This creates a negative feedback as follows. Resistor Ri and Rf form a voltage divider circuit which reduce V out and at the same time connected to the reduced voltage Vf to the inverting input. The feedback voltage is expressed as V feedback is Ri divided by Ri plus Rf multiplied by V out. Slide 41 to 42 basically indicate for us the voltage follower. A voltage follower is a special case of an inverting amplifier when Rf is equal to 0 and Ri is equal to infinity. This form a voltage follower on or unity gain buffer with a gain equals to 1. The most important feature of a voltage follower configuration are a very high input impedance and a very low output impedance. Looking to slide 43 and 44 is the inverting amplifier. Again here, inverting is the configuration in which the non-inverting input is grounded and the signal is applied through the resistor on the inverting input. Here you can see my input signal is applied on the inverting input side here. What do we say here? Between the inverting side and the output is always 180 degrees phase shift. Feedback forces for input to be nearly identical, hence the inverting input is very close to 0 volts. The closed loop gain of the inverting amplifier, a closed loop gain is negative, indicate 180 degrees phase shift, Rf divided by Ri. In slide number 45, the input signal is applied through a series input resistor, Ri, to the inverting input. Also, the output is fed back through Rf to the same input. The non-inverting positive input is grounded. At this point, the idle op-amp parameters mentioned earlier are useful in simplifying and analyzing the circuit. In particular, the concept of infinite input impedance is of a great value here, because an infinite input impedance implies 0 current at the inverting input. If a 0 current through the input impedance, then there should be no voltage drop between the inverting and non-inverting inputs. This means that the voltage at the inverting input is 0, because the non-inverting positive input is grounded. The 0 voltage at inverting input is referred to as virtual ground. You can go through this slide yourself. Let's go quickly here to slide number 54. In slide number 54, the effect of input bias current in the inverting amplifier. Ideally, the current through Ri is 0 because the input voltage is 0 and the voltage at the inverting terminal is 0. A small input bias current, I1, flow through Rf from the output terminal, I1, and it creates a voltage drop across Rf as indicated. The positive side of Rf is the output terminal and therefore the output error voltage is equal to I1 multiplied by Lrf, when it should be equal to 0. The rest of the slides you can go through by yourself. I think the next one what I want to refer to is slide number 75. Slide number 75 is again a quick recap. The operational amplifier is a type of amplifier that has very high voltage gain, very high input impedance, very low output impedance, and a good rejection common mode gain. A differential mode is a mode of op-amp operation in which two opposite polarity signals, voltages, are applied to the two inputs, double-ended, or in which a signal is applied to one input and ground to the other input signal. The slew rate is the rate of change of output voltage of an op-amp response to a step input. Open loop voltage gain is the voltage gain of an op-amp without external feedback. Negative feedback is the process of returning a portion of the output signal to the input of the amplifier such that it is out of phase with the input. Closed loop voltage gain is a voltage gain of an op-amp with external feedback, and gain and bandwidth is a constant parameter which always equal to the frequency at which the op-amp open loop gain is unity.